Cheryl Ling, I live to see another day, even though it was tumultuous for me. Tumultuous, yes, that's a good word, like to see. Since I found out that through a natural dentist, he said there's no hope to remove any so-called the mercury silver fillings from my mouth, because that's the reason why I went to him. He wants to pull all my teeth. I mean, not just the ones that with the silver fillings, the mercuries. Now he wants to pull all of them. So that was devastating news to me. Again, I sort of had a sleepless night. I decided that I have to call for help. I called the prayer line. There's a prayer line in YNA. I think it was started by Church on the Way. So they have volunteer members online. This is, like I said, it's not suicide or nothing like that, emergency, but that's okay, because I believe that when you pray with another person, there's just more strength. You know, I mean, I believe God hears me, but when you come together, I think that He's happy about that. So maybe that's the reason why when two or more gather together and He's in the midst, and to agree on earth it will be done in heaven. So I just said, my situation, I know it might sound like I'm, so pathetic or whatever. I said there's this generational curse, and I believe because the doctor keeps saying it's genetic. There's just nothing they could have done with the bone. They asked me if parents have this problem. I said, yeah, my dad is toothless. And I remember the Bible did say that God visits the iniquity of the ancestor upon 3-4 generations, something like that. I know God is not a vengeful God. I know that He's merciful always. But because we have burned incense and this kind of generational sins that have triggered His wrath, meaning that when we burn incense to the idols, it was like a stench to Him. So anyways, I had a pretty tumultuous life as well. I somehow like that word today. I don't use it precipitously. The fact is, I said that I have to humble myself. And the person's name on the other line is Mark. He says, the analogy he got was that when Jesus was in the boat, he said the fishermen, they're really good sailors, and I believe that because I fish and I was in a boat, and I know how it is when the storm arises and your boat is healing. It was just like that, and not just that, it's water pouring like buckets. Seriously, if you don't believe in God, you would cry out to Him. Like the Forrest Gump, that image of Gary Sinise on the top of the boat. Remember? He was on the mast. Say, ah! It was like that. My roommate over there, like, what's she doing? Screaming and yelling. But I'm talking to you. Well, this person on the other line, he said that, so everybody was panicking. Oh, yeah, and yeah, I panicked too, because I was in a boat like that. If you weren't harnessed, then you could be thrown out of the ship and drown. It's just that frightening, They went down. I couldn't believe he was sleeping. Jesus was sleeping. They woke him up, and they said, "Master, we sinketh. How can you be sleeping?" I just don't understand it. So I guess Jesus just woke up, like, what was going on? And He's like, no big deal. He answered their call. So he didn't say, why are you bothering me? He went up to the upper deck. I mean, if you're in the boat, you don't want to be in the galley. You don't want to be on the lower deck when the waves are tossing around, because that's like an earthquake. It's worse when you're down below. And I threw up. I mean, I personally threw up so much. I fed the fish and all that, like all day, all night. When you're down below. But he just went up to the mast, and then I imagine he stood there and rebuked a wind. I couldn't believe it. It's like, rebuke you, wind. Since I think Mark said, Jesus said the word peace. And I suppose he said in Greek it was papeo, or it's a very powerful word, be still, because he said that we thought the word peace meaning everything calmed down. But he said that he learned that when he rebuked the wind and said peace, it meant that Jesus is peace. He is the Prince of Peace. He's like maybe calling out by saying, who am I? Peace. So Mark, the way he interpreted was that he had a vision in his mind that everything just kind of froze in place, like a movie. Sometimes you see it, like the waves are halfway like this, or just froze like that, because it's so powerful. He's just that powerful. And be still. So then I don't know, I'm not a physics specialist, but everything just calmed down. And I suppose that's like my psychic. I was, my psyche, not psychic, but psyche, is that I was in the ocean like this, and I need that peace. I need someone to take over the helm. So he prayed for me that I will experience it somehow. However, if the Lord Jesus can, He will do it to take out the silver fillings, which are mercury, even without the doctors that going through the drilling and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, because they don't want to do it in the massive bone loss. I believe that he can. I don't know how. I'm just saying, oh, let there be bone. If I have to like visit a cement shop or something, like we gotta cement everything together. Okay, that was the phone call that I had, and I thought that was really good to share with you. Then I gotta go be my goofy self because I gotta be happy again. Well, you thought I was gonna spare you, but I'm not. Yeah, voting is next Tuesday for this LA County. If you're in LA County or California, I don't know which counties you live in. I also need some tips about who are supposed to put on the college boards and all. I mean, I don't know. I just think that everybody's corrupt. They got cronyism. They're there to take money. I got the flyer says don't vote for Pearlman. I suppose she's trying to re-elect herself for this board of education or whatever. I mean, I have no idea who's there. But I do want to say this: vote no on H. That's very important because that will raise your taxes. And obviously, the so-called the big interest group, unions and what do you call, like the government, they want more money. They're gonna add a 0.25% tax, sales tax now, to raise more money supposedly for the homeless. And like I said, it's just totally bogus. Every time, we just don't need any more government regulations shoving down our throats, because that money disappears into the thin air. Seriously, they just create more boards, so-called boards, programs, and the cost of running the program is so high, you just don't know where the money go. Besides, they already raised the tax. Somehow people approved it last year. It's called HHH. So vote no on H. It's more, yes. It is. It's a monster. How can I say? It's a hoser. Okay. No on H on March the 7th. Oh, see you later, alligator.